Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Saturday on this channel where we talk about things we didn't get to talk about the rest of the week. And today we've got to talk a little bit about Star Wars Skeleton Crew and the latest episode. So this will be our complete breakdown of the latest episode and then what we think about where it's going to be going. So let's jump right into it. Alright, so if you haven't seen the latest episode of Star Wars Skeleton Crew, consider this your warning. We will be doing a spoiler-based review. We will be breaking down the episode completely and then telling you what we think about it so far and where it could go from here. So we're going to give you that spoiler warning now. So if you haven't seen the episode, go ahead, stop the video, go watch the episode, and then come back and watch this video. Go ahead. We'll wait right here. Alright, so that being said, let's jump into this episode because it was a very good episode actually, because what it does is it defies what we originally thought in a lot of ways, but then also what everybody's kind of saying about it could actually prove to be true. Now let me explain. Now, the episode is called Very Interesting as an Astrogaston Problem. The breakdown of the episode is, on Aden, Wendell, Fira, Neil's mother, Noma, and KB's parents, Marie and Jerry, are told by a security droid that due to the kids going past the barrier, it is out of their jurisdiction to go and get them. So they're not going to be able to go and get these kids. These kids are lost. They're not going after them. So that's kind of a crazy thing right there, because now these kids being lost and them not going after them should tell you something about the place they're living in. It is a strange little planet. Jod helps the kids escape the brig, but they leave without Smee, SM-33. And the kids aren't having any of this. They send Jod back to get him because they're not leaving without their droid. So after they force him to rescue Smee, SM-33, they then turn around and leave, but they're pursued by the pirates. This is actually crucial because it's one of the first hints that we get that Jod might not be able to be trusted. In fact, KB really doesn't seem to trust him throughout this episode, and she actually states that she doesn't trust him. Now, they go to meet his friend, KM, and Kim is a map expert, and she refers to him as Crimson Jack, which is something they've never heard him say yet. And of course, they've only just met him. So I'm sure they're going to get this name or millions of other names bantied about when people talk to him, because I think that he is sort of this criminal type. What makes it funny is that she reveals that Aden is among a series of legendary planets that have protected themselves with a barrier. She prints the coordinates. Jod realizes that she was stalling, because right before they come in, we know she's going to stall them. We get that scene. But he figures this out, and it's a good thing he does because it's going to save them. This forces the kids to actually run away. They escape, and Jod has a scene where he's talking to one of the kids and they go, "But you are a Jedi, aren't you?" And he says, "I never said that." This hints that maybe he's not a Jedi Knight. But if he's not a Jedi Knight, then he's definitely Force sensitive. He's able to use the Force. But the kids actually are talking, and they're kind of like, there's numerous ways he could have faked being a Jedi. He could have had strain. He could have had this. He could have had that. And it was really funny to watch them talking about it while they were debating leaving him when he was going to rescue SM-33. But now they're in a situation where they know he's potentially not a Jedi. He says, well, I need you guys. I'm going to help you. You're going to help me. It's going to be mutually beneficial. So he basically tells them they have to escape And they have to work together if they want to make it to their next destination. And then the X-Wings come down and they're chasing after them. And there's kind of a little bit of a fight. The kids get to actually use the weapons and get to do some of the stuff. So they're excited about that. They're excited because they're kids and they're getting to participate in a space battle, which, come on, when you were a kid, that would have been like the end-all be-all of your existence right there. And these kids are no different. So what made this episode really good, though, was the questions that it raises then. Because now, the X-Wing commander, a guy named Commander Kent, interrogates Kim about the group's whereabouts. So this is interesting, because this tells us a couple things. He may not be a Jedi, or maybe he is and he's just not saying he is, or he's a former Jedi, or a Padawan who never made it to become a Jedi. That's possible too. Or he's just a scoundrel and a pirate who learned a few tricks and can fake being a Jedi. So maybe that's the thing. Maybe he is just a pirate pretending to be a Jedi. But this episode raises a lot of good questions, because now, can they trust him? If he's lying about being a Jedi, what else is he lying about? Why was he called Crimson Jack? Is this a persona he used maybe to get into the pirate gangs, maybe to help some situation? Are we going to find out he's a good guy? Because that's really what is at the heart of this, is he's working with these kids, and we don't want him to be evil, but he could in fact betray them in the end. They could have to fight him as the main big bad of this series, and that would be a twist. That would be an absolute twist. But it's not out of the realm of possibility for that to happen, because if you ever played D&D or anything like that, a lot of times players will meet their big bad early on in a campaign, or if you've ever watched some shows follow this too, where they meet the big bad way early into the show, and then there's a whole big reveal of who they actually are. The Kaiser Soze effect, if you will. And that's really cool, because that helps to establish this person as a bad guy who is sort of untrustworthy, but yet the kids are going to trust them. It makes it so that it's interesting for the viewer, because the whole time you are wondering what their motives are. In this case, though, I don't think we're getting quite that Kaiser Soze type of effect, because I honestly think him telling us this early on he's not a Jedi, telling us this early on that he never said that, is going to come back. It's going to come back into the story in a big way, where it's going to be revealed that maybe he is a Jedi or was a Jedi in training. I think that what's going to happen here is that they're going to find out the truth about their planet. And there was a line in here that was kind of weird, because the commander inquires about their planet. And Kim is like, "You wouldn't believe me if I told you." And that line kind of continues to add this mystery to what is their planet? What is this strange planet that they are on that is part of some barrier surrounding it? Could this be, in fact, a planet that we've already seen in Star Wars? Could we be looking at a planet that we've already seen in Star Wars, and yet this one little section of this planet is barriered off somehow, where these kids think they're on a planet called Aden, but in fact they're on some planet we've seen before? I think the mystery here is not just about, does the planet have a treasure? Does Jod actually betray them? I think one of the big things here is going to be whether or not this planet is somewhere important, because I think it actually is. And they also kind of brought up Old Republic again and again. Throughout the series, they're hinting more at Old Republic stuff, possibly being brought into canon. And I think that might be a good thing too. Because a lot of people do want Old Republic to be made canon, but I think you have to realize that Old Republic and the High Republic and all of this stuff are two different things. I think making it perfectly clear that the Old Republic is something that existed is a good way to go, because the story possibilities then become endless. You could have people that are in the Old Republic. You could have an Old Republic story that people always wanted to get told actually happen now, because they have sort of started to say Old Republic. They've kind of started to make that a thing. But the bigger thing in this story right now is, what is the deal with Aden? And I honestly think the planet having treasure on it is only part of the mystery of whatever this planet is. And Jod, I kind of get this feeling like maybe he's being a little bit dishonest when he tells them he's not a Jedi. Because I was aboard with saying I don't think he's a Jedi, but it would be cool if he is. But now I'm kind of thinking he is a Jedi, and he's just kind of been undercover, and he doesn't want the kids to know he's a Jedi, even though he's using the Force around him, even though he didn't deny it at first. He just doesn't want to put them in that position. And I don't think there should be training in this show, not in the first season anyway. If they want to have a second season and they want to train some of the kids to be a Jedi, that would be okay. But this was a good episode and kind of brought up a lot of questions. So in that regard, I was happy with it. But that is where I'm going to leave it off to you guys. I want to know what you guys think. Do you think that Jod is a Jedi just pretending not to be? Or what do you think his deal is? Do you think that Aden is much more important to the plot than even the treasure that's on it? Because remember that R2-D2 and C-3PO were essentially MacGuffins in the Star Wars movies and always have been. They've always been what drives the story forward, but aren't really essential to the plot. And I kind of feel as though this treasure might be that way. But what do you guys think? As always, I want to hear from you guys. Make sure you are leaving me that comment in the comment box below. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to share this video with all of your friends so they can be a part of this conversation as well. And then don't forget to hit that like button. It's free, it helps the channel, and we really do appreciate it. Then make sure you hit that subscribe button. And while you're down there, hit that notification bell as well so you don't miss a single video we do. And then friends, at the end of the day, I know it, you know it. Fandom is family.